and we are live on Facebook now. Good evening, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is DK Jonah, and you're here for Stock to Unstock, a program where we talk about how you can finish what you started. So, what we've established is this: people don't have a problem setting goals. Setting goals is not a problem. So people do not have a problem setting goals. What they have a problem doing is being consistent with their goals, showing up and finishing what they've started. So in this series, what we are looking at is how we can help people go from stock to unstock and complete what they've started. It's simple, right? Yes. And the wonderful part about what we're doing with this series is we started 19 days ago. So we've done 18 days. And the past 18 days, we focused on different aspects. So we're going live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. And Instagram, you could just add to join us late to the party. I think we started going live on Instagram on day 17. But you've not missed much. You can watch the replays. So what are we doing? We're talking about how you can be consistent with what you're doing, how you can finish what you've started. The facts we've established is motivation is not enough. People don't have a problem starting goals. They have a problem completing it. Because sometimes you are excited, you want to do something, the desire to do it is there. The vision for yourself is there. You've created your vision board, you have your goals written out, you've even given yourself smart goals, but you realize that you're not making progress. You're what we call stuck. So, how do you move from the place where you're stuck on your goals, on your projects, on work that you want to do, to completing what you've started? How do you keep your commitment to your commitment? In the past couple of days, we've talked about setting a routine, we've talked about habits, we've talked about building a personal productivity system. And one thing that kept coming is the power of self discipline. So today's conversation is going to be on the power of self discipline. And everybody says, oh, you have to be disciplined, you have to be disciplined. But I say, move from just saying, I want to be disciplined to self discipline. Do it for yourself, not for anyone else. So it's the ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and actions in order to achieve your desired outcome. So you have an end point you want to go to. How do you stay on track? It's not just by having goals. We've established the fact that tools don't make you better. So you can have all the right tools, you can have the right subscription to all the apps. But if you don't have self discipline, you are not able to complete what you've started. And the only discipline that lasts is self discipline. So, yes, there should be discipline, but according to Bon Phillips, the only discipline that actually lasts is self discipline. And we've defined self discipline as the ability for one to control your thoughts. So, you're not just controlling your actions, you're controlling three things: your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, in order to achieve desired outcomes. So everyone has talked about the outcome they want to achieve. I want to be the best version of myself. I want to do my driver's test. I want to do a presentation in church. I want to write a book. I want to start a YouTube channel. People start YouTube channels, they start podcasts, they start social media pages. But somewhere along the line, you get lost and you are wondering, why did I even start what I started? And that's why we're doing this series. So, welcome to day 19. One thing we've said is motivation alone is not enough. You need self discipline. So, people say, oh, I'm not motivated, that's why I can't do X, I can't do Y, I don't feel like doing it. And we've talked about the fact that perfectionism affects or impacts the way we get things done. So motivation is not enough. You don't need motivation to get things done, you just need to get it done. You need self-discipline. And when we understand self-discipline, its significance in personal and professional growth, we can see the impact. So hope you're taking notes, because we're going to have a quiz at the end of this episode. Yes, we're back with the quizzes. We've not had one quiz since day 15, but this time around, I put the quiz on the screen so you will get to see it. Now, what are the benefits of self discipline? And I will tell the story. I will talk about myself a little bit like I did yesterday as we discuss the benefits of self discipline. Now, self discipline is about your emotions, your actions, and your efforts. So, one of the best benefits of self discipline is consistency. People that there are certain people in your life, think about it, no matter what, if they say they are going to do something, they show up. I think the most consistent person in my life is Imiyebi Rose. Rosemary is the most consistent person. She's someone that portrays that character of self discipline. Consistent individuals, no matter what your efforts, your actions will lead to greater progress. Sometimes it's not how skilled you are. You could have the best footballer in the world, but if he doesn't train, if he doesn't have self discipline, he doesn't get the job done. Now, some people are not naturally productive. When we look at the benefits of self discipline, it improves the way you get things done. So, productivity is about improving the way you get things done. So, if you're stuck and you're looking for the ways to improve the way you get things done, then you should think about embracing this attitude of self discipline, of showing up even if you don't want to, of doing things even if you don't want to, of understanding that there can be distractions. Yesterday, we talked about distractions. We said distractions cannot be completely eliminated, but they can be reduced. So you think about how you can, if you're trying to eliminate it, you reduce your distractions, you prioritize your tasks and work efficiently. It will result in increased productivity. If you want to get results, embrace self discipline. Now, increased resilience. Someone told me today, DK, you're the most resilient person I know. I was like, sometimes I don't want to show up. I didn't want to show up today. I almost didn't show up because I had not caught up with my team for a while and we were having a conversation. I even explained that for the past 4 days, I've not had the motivation to show up. Me showing up is as a result of self-discipline. It's as a result of me realizing that I'm building something. There's this resilience and mental strength that you get that nobody can take from you when you show up for yourself every day. So we always talk about the fact that we need to show up every day. There will be setbacks, there will be things that will prevent us from functioning the way we want to function. There will be failures, there will be challenges you meet. But when you are making your commitment and keeping the commitment to your commitment, it builds resilience. It builds something that nobody can take from you, and you'll be able to bounce back with ease. Definitely, it enhances your focus and concentration. People that are self-disciplined, they're quite focused. They are able to concentrate, they are able to complete tasks that they've started. They do not cut corners, they do not try and make shortcuts for everything. They are not tempted by instant gratification, but they are allowed to stay focused on a longer period, for longer periods, because simple, they have this what we call self-discipline and it's achieving your goals. So this is about achieving your goals, achieving it. What are the things that you want to achieve? Now let's explore our lives. Are there areas in your life that you know 100% that you would do better if you were more disciplined? It's about having an honest conversation with yourself. Are there goals that you've not achieved because you did not have the ability to tell yourself to show up? So when we're exploring the benefits of self-discipline, these are the things we want. We want to be able to complete what we've started. We want to achieve our goals. We want to be able to get the desired outcomes that we want. But to get the output, you need to have the inputs. And one of the inputs that shows up no matter what is self-discipline. So I mentioned earlier that motivation is not enough. Some people say, oh, I need motivation in order for me to get things done. If you rely on motivation, it's temporal. It's not something that is permanent. It will come and go. So if you're only going to do something when you're motivated, that is not going to work. Because what motivation does for you is this: it gives you that initial boost that you need, but it fades away with time. So for long-term success, which is what I know we all want to achieve, motivation is not enough because we don't want to deal with short-term glory. We don't want to deal with short-term victory. We want long-term success. External factors influence motivation. Now, this is the truth. Motivation sometimes is influenced by external stimuli. So, such as rewards, recognition, which sometimes can fluctuate or diminish over time. So, if you are completely dependent on this external influence to motivate you to get things done, if the only reason you go to work is because you will get a reward, if you're only working for money, if you're only doing things because of what you will get out of it, these external rewards and recognition, when they don't come, you will not be able to work. It's not sustainable. It doesn't sustain action. If you are only dependent on motivation, it's unsustainable. So without self-discipline, Even the person that is the most motivated, think about the most motivated cartoon character. If you don't think about a TV character or somebody in your life, let's play fiction. Think about the most motivated person on earth. Hercules was so motivated. He was clumsy, he was everything, but that self discipline of showing up for training helped him grow. Inconsistent effort and the lack of progress is what happens when you don't have motivation. The role of self discipline in personal and professional growth. Now, as individuals, there are two areas that I want to grow. So I'll tell you my own way. I want to grow in my personal life and I want to grow in my professional life. My personal growth lesson is to ensure that I'm the best version of myself. I'm using my skills, I'm using my talents, I'm using every single thing. Professional growth may be to say, okay, I want to get on more stages, I want to get more speaking engagements, I want to become the number one productivity coach in the world. Those could be my professional growth ideas. What are yours? What are your personal and professional growth areas that you want to go? What are these things? Do you know them? Because if you don't know them, how will you see them if you want when you reach them? You have to know what you want. You don't want to do this based on someone else's agenda. So, what's your agenda for yourself? Where are the areas you want to grow? What's your own professional and personal growth plan? It can't be someone else's own. It has to be yours. So I want to be able to speak better as an introvert. I want to improve the way I write. I want to write more books. Those could be personal. I want to improve the way I network. That can be personal and professional. I want to learn how to cook more dishes so I can cook bitter leaf soup. That can be personal. There are things in your life that you want to do, but it takes self-discipline. It takes self-discipline to wake up and pray. It takes self discipline to join Hallelujah Challenge if you want to. It takes self discipline to go to church. It has to be for you, no one else. So, how do you now ensure that these goals you set for yourself professionally or personally, how do you ensure that you get them done? And the first thing I would say is this: create structure and routine. Self-discipline is what makes you show up. You need to establish structures and routines because this is what makes you do what you want to do. I say it's not just about managing your time, it's about respecting time. We need to move from just managing time to see time as a resource that we should give the highest respect. Some of us respect money than we respect time. We treat money better than we treat time because if you respect time, you will treat it properly. And if you want to accomplish your tasks efficiently, especially if you don't work a 9 to 5. Now, most of the people I speak with are creatives, but this also applies to people that work a 9 to 5. You are a creative, you're in the creative sector, you work for yourself. If you don't have a structure and a routine, you would end up not doing anything. You wake up in the morning and you're wondering, what do I do? But if you've planned the night before, you know this is what I am going to do today. And even if you work a 9 to 5, if you want to improve yourself, that self development goal that you have for yourself, you have to structure it to say, okay, every day after work, I will sleep, then I will wake up and read a little bit. And that's what I want to do. Okay, in order to go back to school, these are the things I want to do. It takes structure and routine, and you need to show up no matter what. I almost didn't show up today. I was going to drink more. Now, self discipline and overcoming procrastination. This is something that many people know, but they don't accept. It takes discipline, it takes self discipline to say, I will do something and do it. Sometimes procrastination is pushing aside something that should be done today to tomorrow. But it takes you keeping your commitment to your commitment to say, if I've done this thing, I will do what I have said I will do no matter what. But it's also about having a system, having a structure. I always go back to breaking tasks into manageable steps and taking actions promptly. It's about living with a sense of urgency. Sometimes we are too slow to make decisions or take action because we don't live with a sense of urgency. We feel, oh, there is time, I will do it later. Like I always say, later is not a time. Tell me on your clock whether you are using the Roman numeral clocks or the other analog clock or digital clock, whatever clock you're using. Do you see the time later? If you see it, tell me. Please write later is not a time. Let me know that you know that later is not a time. But take action and take action promptly. And all these things have to do with building good habits for yourself. We've talked a lot about habits, routines, rituals, but what are the things that you need to do? It's about thinking the positive ones and dropping the negative ones. Because remember, it's about your personal and professional growth, nothing else. Your personal and professional growth needs certain habits that work to enhance who you are. It's about learning to leverage what you have. And that is how you build good habits. Now, focus and mindfulness. Let's separate them. For now, focus. Sometimes when we are working on one project, we get distracted. So we're unable to do deep work. We're unable to get more things done. We are just looking at the surface level of what we can bring to the market. But if we are able to do deep work and actually pay attention to what we do, we'll produce better results. And this only comes with self-discipline. So you should have situations where this is a period where I am doing deep work, what I call your maxi tasks, and nothing is going to distract you for that hour or two. Thank you, Francisca. She said later is not a time. Nothing will distract you. Focus. Now, with me, mindfulness, we'll talk more about it, is what I will say you should practice. We talked about the fact that distractions could be internal and external yesterday. And we said that sometimes there are these negative thoughts that come. So I talked about the app I use for practicing mindfulness, but there are different ones you can use. And sometimes it's just sitting in silence with your thoughts, allowing your mind calm down and doing a brain dump before you start working. So you can have that mindfulness activity of doing a brain dump. And when you do your brain dump, this is what I say. No one is going to read it. No one is going to see it. Pour your heart on paper. Anything that you're thinking about, write it down now. And you do that. It takes self-discipline to do that routine when you want to read. And by the time you get to work, all the thoughts that will have been playing around your head are no longer there. They are on paper. So it gives you the ability to focus and improve the way you get things done. Now, let's all be honest, are there certain decisions that you've made that you have been like, I shouldn't have? And then it now leads to another bad decision, leading to another bad decision, leading to another bad decision. And you're looking for a way out, you're looking for excuses, you are just everywhere and you are overwhelmed and burnt out. Sometimes overwhelm and burnout comes from our decision making skills. If we want to strengthen our decision making skills, we need to have the discipline to do certain things. You need to be assertive. Even if you're helping individuals, think about the long term consequences. I was watching a video and I may play it today if I have the time. And the video was talking about the fact that kindness sometimes, I tweeted about it, kindness sometimes can be taken for granted and it could lead to other people being lazy. And I was watching that video and I made a comment to myself. I was like, that's true. Sometimes by I don't think of the long-term consequences of my actions and my decisions with people that I am their accountability coach. And sometimes I see myself sabotaging them because I am trying to help them. You have to make choices that are aligned with your goals. And if you're a coach, make choices that would help your own coach clients thrive. We need to stop taking risk that will have long-term implication or long-term consequences. Every choice you make should be aligned with your goals or pause before you make certain decisions. But if you are in a hurry to just make decisions, sometimes you will realize that you would hate that decision you've made. And wrong decision can spiral into different things that we may not want to get into. Like I said, we're going to talk about the power of mindfulness. Mindfulness, please, if there's anything you're taking from the day, it's about mindfulness. It's about ensuring that you are enjoying where you are. There are certain times that you are in a certain place, you are wishing you were somewhere else. Or you're saying, oh God, I remember when I was single. Or I'm single, I'm like, God, I can't wait to be married. I'm not enjoying the place that I am. So practicing mindfulness for people may be different things, but for me, it's enjoying where you are, being present, understanding that yes, where I am is where I am. If I start wavering and thinking about all the other things, I won't be able to give 100%. It's about self-awareness. It's about ensuring that yes, you're making conscious aligned decisions that are aligned with your goals. But most importantly, it's about being content with where you are and not wishing you were somewhere else. And if you wish you were somewhere else, take actions to ensure that you can get to that place. If you don't like the car you're driving, don't start dreaming about the new car without making a plan. Sit down, make a plan, then get back to work. Sometimes we wallow in self pity so much that we are like, oh, this thing hasn't sold. Nobody is calling me. My phone is not ringing. That you're not even enjoying the place that you are. And most of us are guilty of this. I am guilty of this. Today I was feeling very, very, very sad because I was like, okay, the tickets have gone up. No one is buying it. The people that have bought are people that I know. The flyers are not ready. Nothing is ready. And I was just sad. Oh, when I did my first course, by this time I'd already sold this. By the time I did my book, I'd already sold this. And I wasn't enjoying the presence and enjoying the present situation I was. So I needed to remind just myself, why am I sharing this story? Sometimes you think that there are certain things that I do that I don't practice. That, oh, these things come easy to me, they come natural to me. It takes effort to do things effortlessly. It takes effort and consistently showing up to ensure that you thrive and perform the way you want to perform. So how are you going to practice mindfulness? What part of your life are you not focusing on because you wish you were somewhere else? Think deep, take a deep breath, and write. Make notes. Ensure that you are taking action consistently. Ensure that you are not just in denial. I always say I'm very, very self-aware. I wasn't always like that, but now I'm self-aware. I'm aware of my limitations, I'm aware of my strengths, but I'm also aware that my strengths can become my weaknesses if I don't take care. But if I'm always thinking about the wrong decisions I have made, I would not thrive. So practice mindfulness. And now let's go to self awareness. Self awareness is important, it's the foundation upon which self discipline is built. So it's about understanding one's thoughts, emotions, behavior, and how they impact productivity and goal attainment. So that's one I just read that out for you. I'm a good reader, am I not? But I always say this, it's not enough to be self aware. Now, let's use the example. When I realized that I was dwelling on the past, I was self aware. So you can be self aware without taking action. So being self aware is fantastic. It's something everybody should strive to be. I want to be self aware. But there's a step after self awareness. And that's self acceptance because you could be aware of what's going on around you, but you've not accepted it. Accept where you are now. Accept the person you are now. If you are the person that is procrastinating now, that doesn't mean tomorrow you will. If you are the person that takes calls when you should be working now, that doesn't mean tomorrow you will. But if you are in denial about your current position, there is no way for you to grow. Self discipline works with honesty, transparency, and vulnerability. And who are you being vulnerable to? You're being vulnerable to yourself. I was vulnerable to myself, then I was vulnerable to my mastermind group. And I went to my mastermind group and I was like, this is what I'm struggling with. And Tobechuku came to help me out on my project. That's vulnerability. So I was aware that, oh, I have this shortcoming. Then I accepted it, then I took action. What are the actions you are going to take based on your self awareness you have about your professional and personal growth? It could be something you share, but it's something you do. So, how do you get this self awareness? How do you move from self awareness to acceptance to action? It's reflection and introspection. It's mandatory, it's not something you can push aside. There's just time for you to reflect on who you are, what you do, what you bring to the table, to your own table, though I'm not saying to any table for those that like those type of conversations. But where are you at this point in time in your life? Journaling, seeking feedback. If I don't seek feedback, I don't grow. So that's why I love being on the hot seat. Anybody that works with me, Victor, will know that I will volunteer myself to be the scapegoat to ensure that I learn, because I'm aware of my own way I sabotage myself, and I am taking action by making myself accountable, not just to me but to others. Seeking feedback is difficult because sometimes you get feedback that you don't want to hear. But sometimes you need it because a bad day for your ego is a good day for your soul. Then, embracing mindfulness. So, this is one thing I struggle with. Mindful breathing exercises. Sometimes stop and take a deep breath. If you don't know how to do these breathing exercises, Google breathing exercises and see the ones you can practice. But practice them. Sometimes we need to slow down to keep up. We are moving so fast. Every day is gra gra. Every day you are jumping from one place to the other. When last did you sit down and just take a breath? And do you know what? Once you do something like this, you do this, you're engaging, you'll be able to engage with your tasks better. You will get more work done. Sometimes when you're in a hurry to do things and you're trying to do this task, you see that it's almost impossible. Take a break. Be mindful about it. I'm scheduling breaks into what I do. I was talking to someone, he said, Diki, how are you able to do so many things? You've done so many things today. I said, I've broken it down. I know my mind. If I don't switch off my WhatsApp when I am on my laptop, a message will come in and I will start reading and forget that I'm teaching. I know myself. So taking breaks is vital. It's not negotiable. And how do you now say, oh, I don't have self discipline? I'm someone that slacks. If you think, oh, some people are naturally born and gifted with it. For me, it's a no no. How do you start? Where do you start from? It's about being crystal clear about what you want, your goals, your intentions, the values that you have, why you do what you do. Be crystal clear. I will take it to brand clarity. I would say it's goal clarity. That anybody that wakes you up, you'll be crystal clear on what you are doing and why you do what you do. That you will have this resilience and nobody can take from you. And when you're doing tasks, you prioritize tasks. So you say, is this important? Is this urgent? Okay, I will do this. Sometimes if you don't learn how to do these little things, you see that you will not be able to do the important things and you keep on getting overwhelmed. Overwhelm comes when we don't prepare. Sometimes we've planned, we have taken action, but we are taking the wrong action. We're focusing on the wrong task. And you have to be intentional about creating an enabling environment for success. Why did I say an enabling environment? Because you can create an environment for success that you think it will work, but if it's not enabling, if it's not going to help you, it won't work. So sometimes you think about the fact that there are certain people that are doing certain things around you. You work in an open office plan, you don't live alone, there is no space, you guys live in a tiny apartment. So how do you create an enabling environment for success in a busy world? Introverts have been doing it for a while because we live in such an extroverted world that sometimes we just want peace and quiet. But if you come from a big family, like peace and quiet for what? Every corner you go to, there is somebody. So how do you create that enabling environment for yourself? It's about understanding what works for you, understanding what makes you thrive, understanding, and sometimes it's not just the physical environment, which is the most important thing I will say, but it's your mental environment. It's what substance, is what you feed yourself, is what you tell yourself, is what you surround yourself with. So when I say I talk about accountability, people are like, oh yes, be accountable to people. It's good to be accountable to people. I say yes, along with self-discipline, there's self-accountability. You have to be accountable to yourself. So even if you are building accountability like I have done, where I can call on Emma, I can call on Toby, I can call on Nena, I can call on Folakemi, and they understand my journey in different ways and they can guide me on the right path and correct me when I need to be corrected. It's because I've been vulnerable in front of them. Find people that you can be vulnerable in front of. Find them. But it takes effort to find an accountability team that works effortlessly. You have to be willing to take the risk. Sometimes when we talk about building accountability, and we'll do a deal about on accountability. But when we talk about building accountability, everybody says the kind of accountability partner they want. I remember one day I told someone to make a list. I'm telling you people the assignment I will give you the day I talk on accountability. What do you want in an accountability partner? I want someone trustworthy. I want someone that listens. I want someone that doesn't shout. I want someone that is patient. I want someone that is creative. You can list every single thing you want in an accountability partner. Then my question is, are you these things? In order to get accountability, we have to also give accountability. Accountability is not a collect, collect. Sometimes that's what we want. We just want to collect, 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 collect from people. Sometimes it's about giving, and it's not just always about what you gain. Now, everybody knows procrastination is not good. Please, if you are here in the comments, just write procrastination is not good for me. Procrastination is not good. We all know, don't we? The answer is yes or no. But I'm sure the answer is yes. Everybody knows you shouldn't procrastinate, but why do we? When it's a common obstacle to our productivity and self discipline, why do we still procrastinate? Why do we still push things aside till tomorrow? Why are we opting for short term gratification over long term goals? Although we know the consequences, we still don't do as we should. Why? Because procrastination is challenging, it starts in your head. It starts in your head before you even take any action. It starts in your head. So how do you now overcome procrastination? It's the same things I have been saying. Create a schedule and stick to it. Prioritize your task, stick to it. Recognize triggers. Recognize that you have triggers. Know what triggers you, know what prevents you from doing what you should do. Everybody has their triggers. For me, a good trigger used to be suya or agbadum. If I will go anywhere in London to find it, or it could be TV. Right now with TikTok, my goodness, if you get addicted to TikTok, you can be up to 3 a.m. watching Turkish dramas. I'm currently watching a Turkish drama, but it's TikTok. So I know I've set timers for my phone. I will pause the timer and say, log me back onto that app. Why? I want that gratification. Brian Tracy said, the ability to discipline yourself to delay gratification in the short term in order to enjoy greater rewards in the long term is the indispensable prerequisite for success. We all want to succeed. We all want to be the best version of ourselves. But are we willing to have the discipline to delay gratification in the short term? Sometimes we are not. I am speaking for myself. I am not. So, how do we become willing to do this thing? It's not about only being willing, it's about doing it. We just have to show up. We have to practice time management skills. Because when we are doing tasks, we need to understand that every task does not require the same attention. So we're practicing time management skills. We've talked about Pomodoro, we've talked about time blocking. We'll learn about the 6 days later. But what I would just say is do not go in alone. Do not try and do this alone. Do not try and get this self discipline thing that we're talking about alone. You can't do it alone. You need support. Yes, self discipline is important, but you need support. You need to find you need to find your own circle. You need to find people that you can trust. Sometimes your family don't understand the nature of the job you do, especially if you're a freelancer. People don't understand what we do. When we go for speaking engagements, they see that, but when you're in front of your computer talking, they don't even see that as work. But you know the effort you put into this. So you need to find your tribe. If you don't have one, build one. Build bridges, network, communicate with people. It takes discipline for me as an introvert to be speaking. But we have to do the work it takes to get this work done. And I said I was going to do a little quiz for us. And I would like to know your response in the lesson to see what we've learned about self-discipline. Now, in your opinion, what is self-discipline? Is it about the ability to control others, the ability to control oneself and regulate behavior, or the ability to work long hours without breaks? Which of these, in your opinion, describes self-discipline? Is it A, your ability to control others, B, your ability to control yourself and regulate your behavior, or C, the ability to work long hours without taking breaks? Sometimes when we work long hours, we think it's about how long we work, how much time we put into things. Sometimes you say, oh, I think about people brag. Ah, I did 12 hours today. I was able to work. I'm someone that works without resting. Some people see that as self discipline, but is it really self discipline? Is it the ability to control others? Oh, I've been able to control everybody on my team. I'm able to control others. Is that what self discipline is about? Or is it the ability to control yourself and regulate your behavior? What's the option for you? Let me know. So that's A, B, or C. All right. What's the next question? I will come to the comments later and see what you've said, Francesca. A good day for your ego is a bad day for your soul. But let me know. I want to know your own response. Francesca's response is B. My response is B. Fantastic. So we've got two B's. Fantastic. So let's go to the next question. And on Instagram, if you know the answers, let us know because we want to see what we know about self discipline. Now, why is self discipline important? It helps you become more popular. A. It helps you achieve your goals and stay focused, or it makes you immune to success. What's your own response? We've got B for the first question. Now we've got the second question. Why is self discipline important? A, is it because it helps you to become more popular? Because you are disciplined, you are able to manage your time, you can go for more parties, you can go for more events, you can be everywhere. It helps you to achieve your goals and stay focused. Or does it make you immune completely from failure? Is it possible to be immune from failure? Your goals are not do not work. Everything works for you once you have that self-discipline. I would like to know your answer. So we are on the second question. Instagram, I'm not getting responses from you. Okay, what's the third question? Self discipline is an inborn trait that cannot be developed. Now we're going to pause a little here and have a conversation. Self discipline is an inborn trait that cannot be developed. True or false? What do you reckon? Is it something that is inborn that no one can develop? Okay, I will add you. I mean, if you want to join the call, I'll add you. I don't know if that was a mistake, but if you want to join, just tell me yes, and I will add you. All right. Self discipline is an inborn trait that cannot be developed. That means some people have it, some people don't. What do you reckon? What's your answer? False. I agree. The answer is false. Most people think that there are some people that are naturally disciplined. But sometimes it's actually, remember what I said earlier, it takes effort to do things effortlessly. So that person that you're seeing that is doing those things effortlessly, that it looks so simple, they have trained themselves. And you can also. So even if you don't have that self-discipline, you don't have what you think you need to have, you can train yourself to be that best version of yourself. So that's false. Self discipline is not an inborn trait that cannot be developed. We can all improve ourselves and create that lifestyle that we want. We just have to show up. There are not people that see this. Everybody has 24 hours in the Beyonce's internet, according to statistics. However, some people decide to invest their time, some people decide to respect time, some people decide to do different things. What do you want to do with your time? Self discipline is not an inborn trait. It can be learned. Some people, it comes to them naturally. And sometimes with people like me that grew up in a military environment, there are certain things that are almost status quo. You have to, discipline is like a second nature to me. I went to Covenant University. I did not really have issues because I went from a military school to that environment. Then, even alone, I have self discipline. But I've had to learn certain things. I've had to say no to myself and yes to certain things. It takes time. But if you, I said, the reason I put this question is to say this. If you feel that you don't have this now, that doesn't mean you won't have it for forever. You just have to show up and do what it takes. What's our next question? Which of the following can help in building self discipline? Number one, setting clear goals and priorities. B, creating a daily routine. C, seeking support from others. D, all of the above. Let me know your response in the chat. Which of these can, of the following can help in building self discipline? And we've talked about this today, so the responses will be great to see. Is it just about setting clear goals and principles? Fantastic. We've got an answer D in the chat. We've got D. Creating. So it's yes. And when it comes to self-discipline, it's about all these things. You need to set clear goals and priorities. You need to be intentional about what you want to do. So start with the goals. Then it's about now, based on those goals, you create a daily routine for yourself and then you keep to that routine. So it's not just about creating a routine. I remember when I first started using planners, I have the best planners in the world. I would do my research and get the planner and say I will use it for where my planners were coming back to me the same year, next year, not used, 70% blank. Because it's about using the system you've created for yourself, but then seeking support from others. Don't try and do it alone. It takes a village. Next question. We're doing well. What are some strategies to overcome procrastination and improve self discipline? Now, everybody says procrastination is bad. So let's see what you will say about this response. What are the strategies to overcome procrastination and improve self discipline? A. Breaking tasks into smaller and manageable steps. B. Setting deadlines for yourself. C. Rewarding yourself for completing tasks. Or D. All of the above. Which of these would help you stop procrastinating? I think someone said procrastination is something she struggles with, and procrastination is not good. It's not good at all. Procrastination isn't good, and sometimes we are like that. So we say all of the above. Yeah, you need all of the above. I always do this now. This is my own way of breaking task. When I get have a goal, I look at steps, task for that goal, and for each task, I now have action steps. So to write a blog post, you don't just put that on your calendar that I am going to write a blog post today. It takes a couple of steps. Number one, you have to have your topic. Number two, you have to do your research. Three, write your copy. Four, edit. Five, publish. So those are five different tasks, and I'm sure there are more tasks because you have to choose your images. You have to do your SEO. Like you have like eight different action steps or tasks. When you break them down like this, that you are going to put time block only one of those things on your calendar, and you set a deadline for yourself. Okay, I want to write this blog post by Friday, but in order to write this blog post, it takes me 8 steps. So I need to put all those 8 steps onto my calendar. I'm not just going to put blog post. I have to be very, very specific about what I want to do. And then reward yourself. Buy yourself a bottom or buy yourself a bag, buy yourself something, but just reward yourself. It just feels good to receive something when you've done something. So rewards are important. So I will go with D for this one. Okay, we're almost through. I think we've done five. Self discipline means never allowing yourself to have fun or relax. Now, true or false? Self discipline means never allowing yourself to have fun or relax. When you hear the word discipline, when you hear the word deadline, does it sound exciting? Does it sound fun? Does it sound like, you have done it? What does it feel like when you get self discipline? False. I agree. Some people, when they hear the word discipline, it brings back childhood memories of punishment. When they hear deadlines, it just says, that's something difficult. When you hear work, you hear chores. So you're already angry, you're upset, you're vexing. You're like, I can never have fun. Think about it. You tell a child to do something, they get upset. You're like, do this before you go and play. I have a rule. When I'm playing, I'm playing. When I'm walking, I'm walking. When I'm relaxing, I'm relaxing. It's a difficult rule to follow, but trust me, if you follow that rule, you'll be fine. So, yes, it's a false narrative. Self discipline doesn't mean you will not have fun or relax. Creativity comes from a place of rest. How can self discipline benefit your personal and professional life? Now, it improves time management and productivity, it enhances focus and concentration, it helps in achieving long term goals. C or D, all of the above. I'm sure all of us can echo this one at the same time. Let me know your answer on Instagram. I mean, if you still want to join, I will add you in a minute. I think we're getting to the last call. But yeah, it's all of the above. It helps you improve time management and productivity. Some of us are bad when it comes to time management. We're not, as in, I have a friend. If something is happening at 6 p.m., I will tell her it's for 12, and she would still be late. So I've given her 6 hours. I'm like, you have to be here for 12. I will see her for 8. That's just the way she is. And she really is trying her best. And once she starts trying to be on time, forget it, she's just going to get worse. And she starts panicking. There are certain people like that. But if you want to improve time management and productivity, embrace self-discipline. Start small. It won't happen overnight. It takes time. Building self this brings me to the next point. Building self-discipline requires consistent practice and effort. True or false? Is it something that is one done and dusted, or it requires you showing up? We need to show up for ourselves. We need to show up as much as we want to, even if it's difficult. We have to show up. So that's a false narrative. And how can accountability play a role in developing self discipline? A, by seeking support and feedback from others, by setting goals and tracking progress, by being responsible for your actions, or all of the above. When we talked about accountability, I think we have talked about taking ownership for your errors. There are sometimes that people blame everybody but the person that's staring at them in the mirror. Everybody is at fault because for why you did not succeed, but you don't see the role that you played. So being accountable means being responsible for your actions and your inactions, taking ownership. It means setting goals and tracking progress. That progress tracking is what separates people that succeed from people that don't. The reason most of us abandon goals is because we're not tracking. If we take time to track our goals, there's a better percentage of people that will succeed in achieving their goals. Now, what mindset is helpful in developing self discipline? Is it a fixed mindset? Believing that abilities are fixed and unchangeable. That means once you are either born creative or you are not born creative, or a growth mindset, believing that abilities can be developed through effort and practice. Now we see two things come to play. Because of time, I'm just going fast. Effort and practice. You have to put in the effort and you have to practice consistently. It's not just once. You don't figure it out once. You're not going to meet a doctor that just Googled how to treat malaria and then comes to treat you and you have typhoid. No, it takes time. Be patient with yourself. So the truth is, the difference between success and failure is often not about talent or resources. It's about self-discipline. It's not about the most creative person. It's not about the most talented. It's not about what you have, but it's about what you do with what you have. Now that it's your turn to show up, now that it's your turn to get something done, what are you going to do with the time you have, the energy you have, the gifts you have, the skills you have, the experience you have? The resources we have is not just financial resources. Time is a resource. There are certain people that are not as skilled as you, but are getting better results. Why? They have self discipline. They show up, they practice, they do every single thing they should do when they say they will do it. So it's about understanding that when you walk, you walk. When you play, you play. Self discipline is something that we should all have. It's not something, like I said before, sometimes when we hear the word discipline, we just don't want to hear it. We are like, no, it's something difficult. But it's something that will make that change for you. You have an option. Live the life the way life the way you're living it, or embrace self-discipline. I said a couple of things, and this were a few that Francesca and Wilson echoed. I said later is not a time. If you're taking anything from today, take that. I used to make a t-shirt that says later is not a time. Later is not a time. We keep saying we'll do things later. Later is never. You have to be specific about what you're doing when you're doing. You need to control your calendar. We talk about flexibility, yes, but yes, there's flexibility, but control your calendar. Don't let your calendar control you. You need to enjoy the present moment. Worrying about things to come will snatch your joy in the present. Be mindful. Thank you so much, Francesca, for that. Yes, be mindful. Wherever you are now, enjoy the moment. A bad day for your ego is a good day for your soul. That quote is not by me. I don't know who said it, but it's a quote I always use. I love it because that day, the day I heard it, I was hurt. I was like, wow, that's a good one. Embracing mindfulness is key. Take a break. If there's anything, take a break. Procrastination, we all agree, it's not a good thing. And procrastination is not good for anybody. So, thank you so much for joining me today. Tomorrow's conversation will be about deep work, how to learn how to actually focus when you're working, how to bring all your tools and resources and what you need to actually get things done. How was I able to write my book? I'll be sharing my experience, despite the fact that I have fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, brain fogs, and quite a lot of other invisible illnesses. I'm still able to function because there are sometimes that you need to have because sometimes it's not about how long. You can spend 2 hours on a project and you will do more than if you spent 5 hours, but about understanding that when you show up for work, you show up. So tomorrow is day 20. I still have it as day 19. Oh, I said okay. Anyway, tomorrow is deep work. Thank you so much for joining today. I think I'll take a couple of questions. I've exceeded my time by 7 minutes. But while we're there, I have a workshop coming up and it's called The Reset. So the aim is to help people reflect on the past 6 months and plan for the next 6 months because it's the middle of the year. So I think it's time for us to actually hit that reset button and set new goals, come up with a plan that we want to accomplish for the rest of the year. So this is what I said I was stressing about, but I'm glad that everything is up and running. And if you want to find out more about it, you just go to the creative, the steadfastcreative.com/, join the reset now. And for me, it's an amazing opportunity. I'm looking at it as it's beyond goal setting. It's not just about setting goals. It's about understanding that there are certain things that need to be done. How do you build your own personal productivity system that ensures that you get rid of obstacles and meet your goals all the time? And that's what the reset is about. So if you take this button, it takes you, if you're in the UK or anywhere in the world, it redirects you to the website where you can actually purchase the ticket. It's £10. And if you're in Nigeria, it's a separate link. I had to separate the links because of our government policies and different changes. So your card won't work with that website. Your card will work on Seller. But it's a 1 day workshop and a masterclass and a workshop that is going to be held on the 1st of July. And if you have any questions about it, just send me an email. But basically, the reset is just about doing a reset and planning for the remaining 6 months. Because sometimes we feel that, oh, it's too late for me to start planning for goals and trying to accomplish something. There is nothing fantastic about January 1st. Let me let you in on a secret. There is nothing fantastic about January 1st. You can start achieving what you want to achieve. Pre you can start now. You can look back, and this workshop is just going to do exactly what I wanted to do, which is help you plan. And not just make a plan that will not work, but create a plan that works for you. So I'm glad that the team wrote this beautiful copy for me. I didn't have to get involved too much, but yes, this worked for me. And you have the frequently asked questions about the reset. I think the link is on my Instagram already. But last did I eat afang soup? I'm eating afang soup today. The link is on my the link is in my bio and it's everywhere. But it's the steadfastcreative.com, the reset now. Please join me for this workshop. It will be an amazing opportunity for us to put to practice all these things we are learning, and you have everything in the workbook that can actually help you plan for the rest of the year. Thank you so much for joining me today. Yes, so please, everybody, rest, eat, enjoy yourself, create time for what's important to you. Most importantly, have a good night rest. Thank you so much, Esther Bode. Thank you so much for joining. Wilson, Francesca, thank you. I've never met Francesca, but thank you so much. And Esther for joining me today. So tomorrow we're going to talk about deep work. Let's learn how to actually focus. Are there secrets to actually learning? We'll find out tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Cheers.